giving the Lord all the honor, all the glory, and all the praise. Giving a great shout out to the YouTube family. Just coming back responding once again with my big brother Midiman. Big shout out to you. Just got through looking at your other video on the tithing principle because your other one got cut off, and I'm glad you came back and did that also, like PP Jones was telling you to do. And big shout out to you too also, PP Jones. And you pretty much sum it all up, man. I love what you say. Because the one thing that you said even in the first video that sums it all up is you can't beat God's giving. No matter how you try. It's an old song say you can't beat God's giving no matter how you try. And I agree with you to the fullest. When we both did the video on going back to the garden, it all starts in the garden. And I know people don't understand that because even when you look in the garden, you know, people gonna have a debate about this or debate about that. But that's why we don't debate. We just move on. And when you say you can't beat God's giving, and I like how you tied it in with what Paul say, give from your heart. And that's what I like what PP Drawing say, because PP will tell you I'm a tither and I'm a giver. And PP, that's why you're so blessed. And God bless you for that, because even when you look in the beginning in the garden, that wasn't 10%. When you look at Cain and Abel, when you look at what Abel did, it never said that was 10% of what Abel did. That's why I pointed out that word, the fact thereof, which means Abel gave his best. That's why y'all hear me all the time say, I don't want to give God 10%. I want to give him my all. And I like that video, man, and I like how you tied it in with your studio equipment. And just to sum it all up, like you say, man, you cannot beat God's giving. And you made some valid points, like always. Just like PP Drawings will say, the money is for your church. That's why I love to see a church it look nice, it's comfortable. That's what your tithe is supposed to be for. And then to help people when they need to be helped. You know, Paul also said, take care of the elders. But Paul said, I'm a tent maker in so many words. I'm a tent maker. I don't need your money. And that's why let me just say me. That's why I try to explain the truth behind tithing, because it does go back to the garden. Even though you don't see what Cain and Abel did was 10%, but you can see that they gave. Of course, God wasn't happy with Cain's offering, but you got to look at the word sacrifice. And I heard PP Drawing say this a long time ago. It's a sacrifice to pay your tithes. It's a sacrifice to give. The sad thing is we'll give everything to the world, but when it comes to church, we ain't going to put in but $2. But then I always look at the other side of how a lot of preachers done made people, don't want to give because of the abuse behind giving and everything else. That's why Paul did say, let every man give according to his heart. Because it ain't about your pastor knowing how much money you got, how much you gonna put in. It ain't about you trying to give somebody else, or a lot of people do that, man. It ain't about you getting in the pulpit begging and we need 500 more, we need 1,000 more. You don't know what people going through and what they got in their wallets. That's just abuse. That's why I tell the abuse side about it. And I love the video, man, because you cannot beat God's giving, no matter how you try. And when you look at the way Abel gave, man, Abel gave from his heart. Just like the widow woman, when all she had was the 2 mites, and it teaches you that those were like pennies or less than pennies. She gave all she had. And when you give from your heart, see, a lot of people don't understand that giving is, a lot of people think that tithing and giving just supposed to be money. And I wish we could get a true understanding on it. It ain't all about money. It's just like time. Man, you know what? If we could pay you the time for all these videos you doing, people don't understand it takes time when you read the word and when you putting up these videos, it takes time. Softwares cost money. And I like how you tied it in, just like PP Drawing said a long time ago. It takes money. It takes money. It takes money to pay your bills at your church. You ain't gonna pay no light bill with no food. You ain't gonna pay no gas bill with no food. But when you give, when you look at the time that you give, see, that's why I always look at giving. And I look at charity and how you help the poor. No matter what the poor are doing and how jacked up they are, you still supposed to help them. And we done got so far away from the helping that it's just a shame, man, the way some churches do people, man. And they want to beg. And That's why I always say it starts from the garden, like you said, man. Me and Pop talk about this all the time. This is why in church you don't hear the word first fruits. You don't hear first fruit offering, first fruit giving. Giving your first, giving your all. Because why? What did John 3:16 say? For God so loved the world, he gave his what? And listen to what I said, he gave. And like you said, bro, ain't nothing free. You gonna pay with your soul. Your salvation is way more important than any money. Because Christ paid it all, man. He got on the cross, he hung, bled, and he died. And he said, it is finished. But it's up to us to do what we need to do. It's finished. So when you look at giving, and when you look at the word tithe, that's why you hear me say in the video, if you want to tithe, tithe. If you want to give. But don't be brainwashed behind the abuse, because it's a lot of abuse going on behind tithe. So you summed it all up, big bro. Great shout out to you. You cannot beat God's giving. That's why I tell people, your money is not going to God. I wish folks could really understand it. And you got a lot of people, 1 million people believe that their money is going to God. And I don't know why they believe that, because that's what they've been brainwashed with. God don't need your money. The house of God need it. You got to take care of everything. I like what you said, PP Jones, in my old video on time. You said that my pastor take care of the church. If it's a brand new microphone we need, we got it. Brand new PA system we need. And that is what I love to see, bro. Because half of the churches I walk in, and I mean it's a whole lot of them, they won't even buy a microphone. And they got the nerve to call all these musicals, and they don't have no kind of equipment. Well, if you just taking up money, and you don't have nothing to show for it, why do you think people don't want to give their money no more or tithe no more? Because they looking at what's going on. And to me, they got all the right to know what's going on if they don't see no improvement around the church. Because if you just giving your money away like that, and they ain't doing what God say do, take care of the house, like I told you, I'd rather give my money to a homeless man on the street. I'd rather go knock on somebody's door, somebody's family that need food, and say, look, here's $100. Go get you some groceries for you and your kids. See, that's also a part of giving, man. Your charity starts at home. Whether you giving money to the church or not, you should be giving money to somebody, helping somebody. Because I know a lot of people that's looking at this don't give to the church. Well, if you don't give to the church, who are you giving it to? Who are you helping? And I can understand both sides. I'm not here to tell you or to argue with you about paying 10%. You hear me, my word is giving. That's why I'm on here. That's why when I did these videos, I give from my heart. This is a part of my giving right here. All these tutorial videos and all these word videos, this is part of my giving. That's why I'm blessed beyond measure. I ain't hurting for nothing, people. Trust me, like I said in the other video, only thing I'm lacking is my wife, and I know that's on the way soon. That's all I need. I am happy. Though I have my ups and downs, but hey, charity starts at home. That's why I go around passing out groceries. I go see who need help in these churches. Do y'all need me to load up my truck, go give to the poor? What do I need to do? See, that's a part of your giving. That's your heart. A lot of people think, well, I ain't got no money. It's past money. Remember back then, the tithing wasn't money, it was food. And a lot of y'all got a whole lot of groceries. Some of y'all got so many groceries and ain't gonna never even eat them. And you can pack up some of that stuff and take it to somebody else. I know too many people on my next street, on the end of my street, that need help. They need help. So listen to what Big Brother Midiman was saying about how it always start in the garden. Notice when God said I made everything, he said it was good. It was to that old devil, that old serpent, messed up everything. Adam, like you said, man, Adam didn't have no sin. He didn't know what sin was. Eve was beguiled. So you know what I'm saying? That's why God got so angry with Adam, because God had already instructed Adam on everything to do. Think about it. I'm gonna say something off the wall. Adam didn't have to clock in. Adam didn't have nothing to worry about but just walk around in that garden, take care of the garden, keep everything in check. That's all Adam had to do. They go to show you right there how God was taking care of him. They didn't have to worry about no food. They had everything. Just like in the beginning, we can look at the end, the new heaven on earth that John speaks about. You ain't gonna have nothing to worry about. You can eat off of that tree. That tree. Look at that tree that's gonna be burned. That fruit once a month. Oh man, I want to be sitting right up under that tree, because I love fruit. It say you gonna have all the fruit. You ain't gonna have no pain, no suffering. You can drink all the water you want. You're gonna be in paradise. So you look at the beginning, Adam didn't have nothing to worry about. And when you look at the end, we don't have nothing to worry about. To live and reign with the Father is a beautiful thing. But we don't be being taught this kind of stuff. I remember your brother P.P. Jones, you said something about this long time ago. We don't teach the truth on tithing. We don't teach about first fruit offerings. Because when you look at in the beginning, that was an offering. They was offering to God. That's why when you go to Malachi 3 and they say, well, the Bible say, will a man rob God? And people, these preachers be getting up cold there. They don't even tell the truth behind that. When you look at the priests and what was going on and what they were sacrificing to God, and it wasn't money. You see, what I was saying, they was sacrificing all kind of sick animals and all kind of stuff. And people don't be being taught this, so they didn't listen at the preacher instead of studying for themselves. And they feel like, oh, well, they robbing God. You can't rob God. You gotta understand what that means when he said, will a man rob me? Though you have robbed me in tithes and offering. And listen to what it said, tithes and offering. So when you go back to the garden on Cain and Abel, they was offering up to God. And Cain just, first of all, back in the old days, God wanted that blood sacrifice. See, and when you look at what Abel offered up, and then you look at what Cain was doing, Cain couldn't match up with that. That's why God was pleased with what Abel did, because Cain was just sacrificing anything. So when you look at the giving right there on the offering, even back then in the garden, and if you want to compare your 10% with that, fine. That's what I'm saying. It's all fine, however you want to look at it. That's why I said in the other video, the old video, I said, when you go back to Genesis, you don't see 10% right there. When you look at Abel and what Abel gave, it didn't say nothing about 10%, did it? It said he gave up the fat thereof. So he gave his fattest offering. Oh, man, see, that's the blessing right there. He gave his best. That's why I like what you said, man. If it's 10% for you, fine. 20, 30, 40. First of all, God already know what you can do. God know what's in your pockets. God know when you lie. That's why if you gonna put in little, hey, you know the answer to that. But God knows your circumstances. And I hate to see these preachers abusing these scriptures, especially when people have gotten laid off and they doing all they can. Excuse me. They doing all they can. And you still sitting up there begging. You done already asked for 10%. And then you coming back talking about we need $500 more. We need to reach $800 more. And then when you reach 500, now you need 600. Then when you reach 600, you need 700. Then after you reach 700, now we got a goal. We need to reach 1,000. No, that's not scripture. That's begging the hell out of folks. And they done already done all they could. And you sitting there trying to go higher and higher and higher when some of them done already gave their 10%. So what do you say about that? I'm going on that. God bless.